Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to Push Positive Live. I am so glad that you are here. Let's get started here. We have a little bit of a weird angle. I'm going to share this on my wall really fast so that more people can join in. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited for today's topic. It's all about decision making. So let me just share this on my wall quickly. Let's get the technology to work. For some reason, you might see this video is on its side. I'm not really sure why. All right, but I shared it. All right, so welcome. Thank you for being here. Before we get started, my name is Melissa Jakubovic. I'm an author, health, and life coach here at mycoachmelissa.com. I want to offer you my book, Push Positive, Pushing Play on Your Positive Life, for free. You just have to cover the shipping, and it's an awesome book. It has 5-star reviews, and you can grab your copy at pushpositivebook.com. So make sure you check it out, pushpositivebook.com, to grab your free copy of my book, Push Positive. All right, I am so glad to be here today. Thank you guys for popping on. I've got my computer going on here, so if you have comments, I hopefully can see them. Sometimes I have trouble seeing them from my phone, but I've got the computer set up here, so let me know if you are watching this live, type live in the comments below, or if you are watching the replay, type replay in the comments below. I do see that the video is a little bit lopsided. I'm not sure why, but you could always hop onto our YouTube channel and see it there, and it will not be lopsided. That's a Facebook thing that happens sometimes, and I see from my computer it looks a little weird, but all right. The point is that the words that I'm saying are what's important, so if you have to turn your head a little bit to see me, so be it. All right. I always start with a breathing exercise, and today's breathing exercise is going to be fairly simple. I want you to focus on how to re-energize your body and get that energy flowing. Hi, Rochelle. Thanks so much for hopping on. All right, so the way that we do that is we have to exchange the oxygen to the carbon dioxide, and a proper way to do that is by holding in your breath for a count of around 6. So we're going to try 6. If 6 is too hard for you, start with 4. That's okay. So I want you to sit up nice and tall, elongate your spine, feel like there's a string coming from the roof, the crown of your head, and pulling you up all the way to the ceiling. At the same time, you want to think about a string from the bottom of your tailbone pulling you down into the ground. So you're being pulled in 2 separate directions, really elongating your spine here. Sitting up nice and tall, closing your eyes, and we'll begin. I want you to breathe in through your mouth and really get as much air as you can into your belly at the bottom of your stomach. We're not just concentrating on your chest lifting and rising. What I want you to concentrate on is the bottom of your heart, the bottom of your stomach, filling with air so that we can convert that oxygen to the carbon dioxide. So we're sitting nice and tall. We're going to close our eyes and just inhale through your mouth, taking in all the air that you can at once for a count of 6. Ready, go. And hold it. And I want you to feel that your rib cage has separated. Your belly has become fuller, and you're full of air. And now we're going to let it all out through the mouth. And let everything relax. Now, when you're holding that air into your stomach and to your diaphragm, I want you to think about that exchange from the oxygen to the carbon dioxide. That's what's happening. And it's that proper exchange of oxygen to carbon dioxide. And I want you to visualize that your cells are releasing all of the waste in your body, and you're absorbing all of this good energy into your cells at the same time. So every time you inhale, you're taking in all of the energy around you, and when you exhale, only the bad energy is coming out. So you've held on to that positive energy, and you're releasing all of the waste in your body. So maybe you didn't sleep well, maybe you've been eating a lot of junk food lately, or maybe you haven't been working out and you just feel sluggish. I want you to think of all that sluggishness leaving your body with every exhale. So let's sit up nice and tall again. Close your eyes. Hey guys, thanks for being on. Hi Leisha, hi Tommy. I want you to sit nice and tall. Close your eyes. Inhale through your mouth for a count of 6. Hold it. And just let everything out, releasing all that waste. Let it go. This is a weird angle. It makes my hands look enormous. All right. Thanks for being on. Hi, Linda. All right. So breathing in one more time, sitting nice and tall, breathing in for a count of 6, getting all of that energy from around you coming into your body through your nose or through your mouth, whatever's most comfortable. Hold it, hold it. You're sitting up nice and tall. And then we're just going to release all of the waste out of all the cells of your body. Go. And let it all out. Awesome. Hopefully you feel a little more relaxed now. If not, because you're being directed through this with me, you can try this again later on when I'm not here telling you what to do. Just make sure you're not driving while you do it. So when you're feeling stressed or uncomfortable or rushed or just like you can't get out of your skin and you don't know what to do, this is what you need to do. Leave the situation, go to a room where nobody else is, sit up nice and tall, or if you want to lay flat on your back with your palms up by your sides, you can do that as well and just relax. And you want to take in all of the air that you can and really let your belly rise, separate your rib cages. They're usually like this, and you want to inhale so much that you really feel that they're separating, and then you let everything go and they come back together, and all of that negative energy leaves your body. So think about that while you do this, and hopefully it will help you relax. If you need more breathing tips, you can go check any of the other Push Positive lives that I do. I have a different breathing tip at the beginning of every single live. So make sure you stay tuned and watch. And of course, join us every week, which is Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, let's get to our topic. Our topic today is decision making. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I go here? Should I talk to this person? Should I be with this person? Should I move my life around? This is what sometimes creates a lot of stress. And if you're not good at decision making, it creates a lot of stress. And it shouldn't be that hard. So I'm going to give you some tips, some things to think about so that when you need to make a decision, you can do that efficiently and really in a way that suits you, because the way you make a decision is not the way somebody else makes a decision, and what may be right for them may not be right for you. So it's kind of hard, because if you rely on the people that you're close to, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your significant others, and you're relying on them to help you with this decision and you're bouncing ideas off of them, if that type of decision doesn't suit them, doesn't suit you, but it suits them, then that might not be the best method. You really have to be connected to your own heart and your own values in order to make the right decision. Of course, taking in opinions from other people can be helpful, talking it out can be helpful, but it goes a little bit deeper than that. So the first thing is be bold. Take fast action. When you have a decision to make, the longer you harp on it, the harder it becomes to make. So you need to make that decision and then stick to it. And the sooner you make that decision, the easier it will be to carry it through. And know that change is hard, and a lot of people are scared of change. And sometimes change totally sucks. And sometimes it's actually a fresh slate. You can start clean slated, and things actually become better and more clearer when you make that change. So it's just that jumping off the cliff that's a little bit scary, but everything that happens after that usually falls into place as it's supposed to. So just know that the sooner you make the decision, the easier it is to make. If you're sitting there and you're harping on a decision for too long, it eventually it stops you from moving forward. You're putting it into avoidance mode, and when you put it off for too long, it kind of guarantees that you're going to be suffering. So if you're making a decision quickly, then you're going to be suffering a short amount of time and then have a lot of clarity later on. And if you're going to hold off on that decision and let the avoidance kind of take over, then you're guaranteeing yourself for long-term suffering, which is unnecessary. There is no reason to do that to yourself. So Number one, make sure you're making a very quick decision. I'm not saying that if you need to move to another state or you need to get out of a bad relationship that you need to make the decision in 5 minutes, but I'm also saying it shouldn't be a 6-month thing. So find out what time frame is good for you, what you define as quick, but don't let it linger, because then you're just stuck in avoidance mode, and then more and more things start to pile on in your decision, and what could have been an easy decision to make or an easier decision to make becomes catastrophic, and it becomes much more challenging. Another thing is that you need to make sure that you're collecting the right information to make this decision. So if you're asking all these people about a business decision and all these people have zero information or knowledge about business, then they're not the right people that you need to be consulting with to gather the right information to make that educated decision. So if you really are suffering from this unavoidable decision that you have to make in business, then reach out to other business people who may have experienced it or in it. Or if you're trying to move from one city to another, you're not going to ask somebody who's never been to either city, because they don't know. They can tell you what they think off the top of their head, but their decision and their ideas don't really guide you in any specific way. So you want to talk to people who live in that city and find out if there are communities there that you want to be a part of, and do that research. So make sure you have the right information before you just jump off the cliff and make a decision that may not suit you. Another thing is, I want you to think about your enemies. Now, this may sound a little weird, and you may not have any enemies, so an imaginary enemy will work just as well in this exercise, but enemies generally have your worst interest at heart. So if you're thinking about people that you really don't like or that really don't like you, even if it's an imaginary person, because hopefully everybody likes you and you like everybody, but you know, this is real life, so that might not be the case. But if you are thinking about them, they actively want what's worst for you. So think about, what would people who hate me want for me? What would they want me to do? And do the opposite. It seems a little funny, but it's very simple. So if the person that hates you and is your enemy wants you to not succeed, so they want you to take this low-paying job in this faraway place, do the opposite. Don't take that job. Take a job that's high-paying in a very close place. That's a very basic example, but when you have real big life decisions to make, think about what your enemies have in their mind for you, because that's your worst interest, and then just flip it. Another thing to think about is your gut. You know, a lot of us, we're thinking with our heads. That's why I'm not going to tell you in this video to make a pros and cons list. Because when you sit and make a pros and cons list, what you're doing is you are using your brain up here in your head, and you're thinking about, you know, what should I do? What's good for me? What's not good for me? But you're leaving out all of the emotion behind it. And emotions are what guide us through decisions. And you find your emotions in your heart and in your gut, the brain inside of your stomach. That's the one that gives you your instinct, that gives you your intuition, that lets you know in advance of an event whether or not you should go there. So you need to listen to your heart. You need to listen to your feelings. You need to listen to your gut. And if you just make a pros and cons list, maybe you're the type of person that needs to be very structured and you want to have a spreadsheet and you want to geek out on a spreadsheet, go ahead and do that. But that's not my best advice to you, because you really don't connect with your emotions, and your emotions are there because they guide you. You're a human being. Not a lot of animals have that type of emotions. You know, there's jellyfish in the ocean who are just flapping around and they just do whatever they're supposed to do. They're not thinking about it and feeling, and should I approach this other jellyfish? My heart tells me no. They don't have that, but you do have that. You're human. And so use those emotions to your advantage and listen to your emotions and understand what you're feeling and why you feel so strongly about something. Because when you feel strongly about something, that means it's important to you. And if it's important to you, you want to have a thoughtful process towards coming to that decision. So making pros and cons lists could be okay, but I really want you to think about what feels right to you. And what feels right to you may not feel right to someone close to you. But aside from just what's feeling right to you, I do want you to look a little bit outside of yourself, because when you're in that that moment, that point in decision, that fork in the road that you need to go to in your life, and you're just like so deep into it, you don't see all the outside. Sometimes you need to look at it from a bird's eye view, and you can only do that when other people are helping you, or when you see it like you were in somebody else's shoes, when you see it as if you weren't yourself. So yes, I want you to do what feels right to you. I want you to think about what is good for me, what is good to me. But I also want you to think about, what do the people who support you feel is good for you, and why do they feel that way? So they might feel like, oh yeah, you should marry him. Yeah, sure. He's been part of our family forever. You should marry him. And that might be good for them, and they do support you and you do value their opinion. But if something inside of you is like, maybe I shouldn't marry him, then don't make the decision to do it just because the people outside you feel that you should. But do understand where they're coming from, because they might have good points that you totally missed out on. And that's just one example, but it could be about finding a new job. It could be about a relationship. It could be about moving. It can be any decision you have. There's so many decisions in our day. Some of them come very easily to us, so it's easy to make, but some of them are very hard to make. So you need to think about, how do I feel? Is it good for me? How does this affect my family? How does this affect other people who are close to me, and the people that support me? So that's really important, to see it from both perspectives. Another thing is to think about the newspaper test, okay? A newspaper test is, if you were to get a newspaper and there was a huge headline, and that headline in the newspaper was your decision that you're about to make, how would you feel? So if that newspaper was printed and sent out to everyone in your neighborhood, and the headline was the decision that you have to make, how would that make you feel? Would that make you feel proud that that's the headline? Would that make you feel scared? Would that make you feel embarrassed? Would that make you feel like, oh my God, no, I can't do that? Then that might be a good indicator of if it's a good decision or not. Now, sometimes we, unfortunately, are stuck with a bad decision and a worse decision. So neither of them are going to make you feel, yay, awesome. But you know that between those two decisions that you have to make, that one of them is a better decision than the other. So think about that newspaper test. Would you be proud that that decision were the headline of a newspaper? And if it's something that other people would not be proud of, and you also might not feel proud per se, but that's okay if it's something that you feel, if you have a way to back it up. If you're like, I'm proud of this decision that I made because, if maybe not just the headline, but maybe if you read the article, and after reading the article, it made you feel proud because you've been able to explain your side of the story, then I'd say go for it. You don't have to feel awesome about every decision that you make, because it's scary and there's change on the other side. And sometimes that part of the change is kind of the uncomfortable part, the part that you're not proud of, you're unsure of, you're scared of, and you're trying to avoid. But do not avoid it, because change is necessary, change is part of life, and change opens the door for other possibilities coming on down the road. So it's important that you outweigh the benefit between those two hard decisions, if you do have one that's bad and one that's even worse. Sometimes you have an easy decision to make, this is good and this is not good, but sometimes, unfortunately, it's not that way. So back to that pros and cons list, that is about your brain, that's about your thoughts, that's about your facts. But I want you to think about your feelings. I want you to think about your values. Who are you? What do you stand for? Does this represent you well? What are you thinking? So what you're thinking in your head might be just cut and dry. It does this, it doesn't do this. It does this, it doesn't do this. Like, I can move here with the love of my life, but I'll unfortunately be stuck in freezing cold weather and I hate the cold. That's pros and cons, but that doesn't give you that deep feeling of, what are my values? Who do I want to be? Who do I want my kids to know who I am, if you have kids, or my parents, or the people who are close to me? Does this fall in line? Is this in alignment with who I am as a person? Will this bring me to the path that follows my life purpose, or that puts me on a path in a good direction? Like, I'm going to move in with a big time drug dealer and sell drugs on the street. Is that in alignment with who I am? Do I want to live near a bunch of gangs? well, I have 2 small children, and no. So that would be the wrong decision. You know, that's another example. My examples are crazy. But I'm just trying to get you to understand, like, you need to know who you are as a person, and does that represent you? Does that decision represent who you are? And if not, then that's probably not the right decision for you. And the last thing is, I want you to have courage. And courage to not always follow the rules. Courage, you know, is usually what's expected. We're always taught what's expected of us. We need to stand in line. We need to be polite. We need to use our manners. Of course, do all those things. But when it comes time to make a decision, you can step outside of the box. You can do things that you've never done before. If your parents told you you need to go to college and then get married and then have kids, and you don't feel like that represents you, have the courage to step outside of that box. Have the courage to do what fits you, that you are making sure that those decisions are in alignment with you, not in alignment with your parents, not in alignment with what you've been told your whole life. You want to do things that make you happy, because ultimately it's your life. So get some courage, take a courage pill, placebo little tic tac, and say, this is my courage pill. All right, I've got the courage to make the change. I've got the courage to take that leap of faith, to believe in myself, and to do what I know is in alignment. And hopefully that will help you. Trust your gut instinct. Really listen to your feelings. Listen to your heart. It's not just cut and dry. You can't just say, of course, you're supposed to do this. That's what it is. You know, not everybody's the same. Not every decision is right for everyone. So don't harp on it for too long. Make sure you make a quicker decision rather than a slower decision, so that you don't have that prolonged long-term suffering, because it's unnecessary and you deserve to be happy. So believe in yourself. I believe in you. And know that if you made the wrong decision, there are plenty of other decisions to come in your life, and you have the opportunity to change it. I hope this helps. I will see you next Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for Push Positive. And leave me comments. I'll come back in here to check them out later, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Bye.